Now look, Collins isn't going to light up social media. He's not a jersey seller or a Twitter trending name, but I'm saying it loud and clear. This might be the most intelligent and impactful signing this front office has made in years. Let's break it down. The 49ers let him walk with a year still on his deal. Why? Cap pressure. They're juggling how to pay Brock Purdy and George Kittle, and Collins became collateral damage. But here's the key. His performance didn't drop off. This wasn't a decline issue. It was pure financial chess. So what did the Browns do? They pounced. 2 years, $20 million, 0 cents. That's not a filler deal. That's a surgical upgrade. You're not just replacing Dalvin Tomlinson. You're injecting a battle-tested veteran into a defensive line that already looks terrifying on paper. And the scheme fit? Impeccable. Collins flourishes in a one-gap, upfield attacking system. And guess what Jim Schwartz loves to run? That exact scheme. I've watched the film. Here's what pops. Collins isn't a space eater, he's a disruptor. He penetrates, he creates chaos. Over the last 4 seasons, he's consistently ranked in the top quartile of all interior linemen in pass rush grades, PFF. In 2024, he was 7th in pass rush win rate among interior linemen. That's elite company, not serviceable game-wrecking. Now imagine this. Myles Garrett off the edge, Collins collapsing the middle, Mason Graham, our first-round phenom, wreaking havoc alongside them. That's a 3-headed monster capable of suffocating any offensive front. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. Collins has had real struggles against the run. His run defense grades the past 2 years have hovered in the low 40s. That's near the league's basement. And yeah, that's a concern. You don't want to get gashed on early downs and bank on pressure on third. But here's the upside. Environment matters, scheme matters, coaching matters. A storm is silently gathering behind the curtains, charged with unwavering resolve, hushed vows of redemption, and the high-stakes pressure of a legacy being meticulously forged rep by rep. In the looming shadows of grizzled titans and beneath the scorching glare of sky-high expectations, an unexpected figure is rising. Not through flamboyant declarations, but with a magnetic presence that commands respect. As the noise intensifies and the pressure mounts, what unfolds next could rewrite the entire narrative of the season. I'm breaking it all down for you. But before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's go, Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh Steelers, graveyard. 3 words you probably never imagined hearing in the same sentence, but when Myles Garrett speaks, the league listens. And when he flashes that grin and hints at planting a future Hall of Famer in the graveyard, Browns Nation, consider the fuse officially lit. This may just be the spark that ignites one of the most explosive storylines of the entire NFL. We're bringing the fire straight out of Berea, where Cleveland's mandatory minicamp is underway, and let's be honest, the quarterback room is a battlefield. Veteran signal callers Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are locked in a fierce competition, each hungry to reclaim relevance, while 2 rookies, Dylan Gabriel and Sheeter Sanders, are clawing for their shot at the throne. Now let's pivot to another seismic headline. Nick Chubb. Yes, that Nick Chubb. The heart, the hammer, and the humility of the Browns offense for 7 legendary seasons. He's officially a Houston Texan after passing his physical and sealing the deal. While the fan base is still recovering from the emotional gut punch, one voice captured the sentiment of an entire city. Browns icon, Hanford Dixon. And trust me, we're only scratching the surface. I'll unpack every detail, but first, if you've bled brown and orange for 16 plus years, smash that like button. Shout out to the fans who've stayed loyal for over 30 years. Your passion is unmatched. With the deepest respect, drop a comment like, "Let's go Browns. Together we are unstoppable." Let's kick things off with the name that's suddenly electrifying the entire dog pound, Shedeur Sanders. Sure, you know him from Colorado, but this kid is proving he's more than just a college standout. 5th rounder? That label is quickly looking like a misfire. Sanders arrived in Berea and made an indelible impression that few rookies ever do. Precision in the passing game, composure in the red zone, and an escalating rapport with his targets. All of it was on full display at OTAs. Now remember, we're talking jerseys and shorts, not full pads. He hasn't consistently faced a first-team defense. But the tools, the reads, the processing, the arm talent, it's all there. And while no one's penciling him in as the Week 1 starter over Joe Flacco, let's be crystal clear. If Flacco doesn't take the opening snap, The only name that deserves to be in the QB2 conversation is Shedeur Sanders. But Sanders isn't the lone rookie turning heads. Quinshon Judkins is making the game look effortless, as in NFL ready from day one effortless. The way he's slicing through the defense, the burst he shows coming out of the backfield, it's textbook. Sports Illustrated nailed it when they labeled Judkins as a prototypical NFL running back. This isn't about potential, it's about proven readiness. Strength, patience, explosiveness, he's got the complete package. And let's not forget the landscape in Cleveland's running back room. With uncertainty swirling and opportunities wide open, Judkins isn't just knocking on the door, he's about to bulldoze it down. He could be carrying the load for this offense far sooner than expected. Then there's Carson Swessinger, another young up-and-comer stealthily emerging from the shadows. You don't often hear about rookie linebackers commanding the spotlight early, but Swessinger is the exception. His football IQ is off the charts. Jordan Hicks couldn't stop raving about his instincts, his play recognition, his ability to drop back into coverage, his relentless pursuit of the ball. This guy is already being whispered about as a potential defensive signal caller, a future green dot. If you're a Browns fan searching for the next defensive leader, you might want to keep your eyes on 53. And let's not forget Jerry Jeudy, who's not just cementing himself as a reliable wideout, but emerging as the guy in the receiver corps. The chemistry he's building with Joe Flacco, it's real. Locker room camaraderie, daily conversations, on-field synergy, it's all happening. Jeudy is proving he's ready to embrace the WR1 role with Elijah Moore out of the picture. And he's doing it with crisp footwork, sharp routes, and the veteran savvy that can transform this passing game into a legitimate threat, assuming the quarterback play holds up. But for every riser, someone inevitably slides. And the biggest eyebrow raiser, Deontay Hardy, a complete no-show at voluntary OTAs. Now yes, it's technically voluntary, but when you're a journeyman who's bounced from the Steelers to the Texans to the Ravens and now the Browns, you can't afford to miss reps, especially not with a new team, a new coaching staff, and a new quarterback room. This was his chance to stake a claim, and instead, he's left fans with more questions than answers. Let's be honest, if it doesn't work in Cleveland, where does it work? And then there's the elephant in the room, Deshaun Watson. Harsh? Maybe. But real? Absolutely. Watson was absent from OTAs, and the vibe surrounding his status feels like a slow fade to irrelevance. 2 rookie quarterbacks have been drafted. Flacco was brought in, Kenny Pickett was traded for. The writing's on the wall, and it's in bold font. When you combine his injury history, off-field controversies, and declining performance, the road back to being the guy looks like a tightrope walk. Watson at QB5? That's not just a slide, that's a free fall. That's not just admiration, that's reverence, that's legacy. And that one quiet moment says everything about what Nick Chubb meant to this franchise and how devastating it was to part ways with him after that gruesome knee injury in 2023. Unless destiny or a playoff collision intervenes, we won't see a Browns-Texans showdown until 2026. But let's be real, that countdown has already begun. Meanwhile, a different saga is unfolding right here in the AFC North. The Steelers pulled off one of the boldest gambits of the offseason by acquiring 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. And who was the first to respond? You already know, Myles Garrett. Perfect chance to put him in the graveyard, Garrett said, flashing that iconic smirk. And natural leadership. Browns fans everywhere are eager to see if he can become a future NFL star. And here's where things get especially compelling. Recent updates from Cleveland's coaching staff, particularly from head coach Kevin Stefanski, suggest that Shedeur's progress is not just hype, but a reality unfolding faster than many predicted. During recent OTA sessions and mini camps, Stefanski has openly lauded Shedeur's work ethic, his knack for absorbing complex playbooks, and his composure under pressure. This isn't just coaches speak. It's a strong indication that the Browns view Shedeur as a legitimate piece of their long-term puzzle. The staff sees him as both a developmental project and a potential competitor for playing time sooner rather than later. That's huge news for Browns Nation because it points to a future where Cleveland might have a dynamic dual-threat quarterback room. Deshaun Watson, the established leader, and Shedeur Sanders, the rising star. But here's the game changer. The AFC North is already one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL. The Bengals, with Joe Burrow, have been a force. The Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, bring a dynamic offense and stingy defense. And the Steelers under Mike Tomlin are always a threat. For Cleveland to seize its moment, the team needs to be strategic, innovative, and unafraid to harness emerging talent like Sanders. So what does this mean for the Browns' immediate future? If keeps progressing at the pace we're seeing, it could mean several things. First, Cleveland might be positioning itself with a contingency plan. If Deshaun Watson struggles or gets injured, they'll have a talented young quarterback ready to step in. That's a game changer, giving the Browns flexibility and a competitive edge. Second, it could shape how Stefanski deploys his offense, possibly leaning on the run game and defense while gradually integrating Shedeur into the mix to keep opposing defenses on their toes. And let's not underestimate the division implications. If Shedeur Sanders proves himself as a legitimate NFL starter, it will force the Bengals and Ravens to elevate their own games. The AFC North, already known for its physicality and intensity, could become even more of a pressure cooker, with Cleveland introducing a new dimension at quarterback. For Browns fans, the stakes are enormous. This passionate fan base has endured years of highs and lows, but now there's a renewed sense of hope. It's not just about chasing a single season of success. It's about building a sustainable, competitive powerhouse for years to come. That's Stefanski's challenge: to nurture this young quarterback, integrate him seamlessly into the system, and create a culture of excellence. Looking at the bigger picture, Cleveland's roster is stacked with talent, particularly on defense. Myles Garrett remains one of the league's most feared pass rushers, while Denzel Ward's shutdown skills give the secondary a formidable presence. The offensive line has been rock solid, giving Deshaun Watson time to operate. And even though Nick Chubb's injury lingers, his past contributions remind everyone that Cleveland's run game, when healthy, can dominate. But in today's quarterback-centric NFL, the teams that groom young signal callers effectively are often the ones that achieve long-term success. And while Deshaun Watson is still the leader of this team, his experience, leadership, and undeniable talent, he knows the pressure is on to perform at the highest level, especially with the expectations that come with a fan base as passionate as the Browns. If Shedeur Sanders keeps developing, it could create healthy competition that elevates everyone's game. That's exactly the environment a successful team needs in the NFL's cutthroat landscape. Let's talk numbers. Last season, Cleveland's defense ranked among the league's best in points allowed and sacks, thanks to Garrett's relentless pressure and a cohesive secondary. Offensively, the team flashed brilliance at times, but struggled with consistency, particularly at quarterback. That's why Shedeur's emergence as a potential star is so exhilarating. It adds a new, unpredictable layer to the offense that opponents will have to account for. Heading into this season, expectations are high, but measured. Browns fans know how quickly fortunes can shift in this league. A single injury or a string of close losses can swing an entire season. But with Shedeur Sanders' rapid development, there's a renewed sense of optimism that Cleveland is building something special. Now, if you're new around here, you might not know Garrett has a Halloween tradition. Each year, his front lawn transforms into a makeshift graveyard filled with tombstones etched with the names of quarterbacks he's sacked. It's theatrical, it's vicious, and it's deeply personal. To date, Garrett has sacked 31 different quarterbacks. He's notched 12-plus sacks in each of the last 5 consecutive seasons. He's racked up 102.5 sacks before the age of 30. He's not just a pass rusher, he's a one-man horror film. And now he's already envisioning Rodgers as the newest addition to that eerie Halloween display. And why not? Rodgers was tied for the 7th most sacks taken in the league last season. The Steelers' offensive line, still riddled with uncertainty. With Cleveland set to face Pittsburgh twice this season, October 12 and December 28, Garrett will have multiple chances to back up his ominous prediction. This isn't just a rivalry. This is modern-day mythology in the making. A veteran quarterback fighting to extend his legacy, a defensive titan at the peak of his power, and a rookie QB, silent but calculated, patiently crafting his moment. Teammates respect that, and when you're trying to earn a role in an already stacked linebacker core, that's the kind of intangible that separates the average from the exceptional. Swessinger has it. And it's the kind of presence that could enable the Browns to get more creative with their defensive packages, more speed, more coverage flexibility, more unpredictability to confound opposing offenses. And let's talk about Jerry Jeudy. The headlines might focus on his potential breakout, but let's dig deeper. This is about chemistry. He's connecting with Flacco, sure, but he's also becoming the heartbeat of that wide receiver room. There's no more splitting the WR1 spotlight with Elijah Moore. This is Judy's stage now. The connection with Flacco, it's not just about timing routes, it's about trust, about seamless communication. Judy is poised to finally fulfill the promise of that first-round pick. Denver invested in him, and Cleveland desperately needs him too. Because with a potentially shifting quarterback hierarchy, a reliable WR1 who can consistently create separation and move the chains is invaluable. But let's not sugarcoat the dark cloud, Deshaun Watson. This isn't just bad optics. This is the slow-motion unraveling of a career that was once one of the NFL's most electrifying. From legal issues to injuries, and now to complete silence at OTAs, it's a staggering fall, and if fans are still clinging to hope, the writing on the wall is getting harder and harder to ignore. The Browns didn't draft 2 quarterbacks and sign Joe Flacco because they believed in Watson's triumphant return. They did it because they're bracing for life without him, plain and simple. His contract might keep him on the payroll, but his name isn't in the long-term blueprint. He's QB5, he's done. That's the cold, hard truth. And Kenny Pickett, his outlook is hardly any rosier. He's trapped between a surging wave of young talent and a seasoned vet who already commands the system. The Browns know it, so don't be shocked if they explore a trade before the season opener. So now we ask you, Browns fans, what do you make of Shedder Sanders' mindset? Is he the future field general Cleveland's been waiting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As Shedder Sanders quietly builds his story from the ground up, Myles Garrett is busy fortifying his legacy in bold ink. And Browns Nation, this goes beyond sacks or stat sheets. This is about culture. A culture rooted in accountability, focus, and just the right dose of swagger. That's what Garrett delivers every single time he straps on the helmet. And you better believe his sights are set on Rodgers. Now let's rewind to that smirk and the graveyard remark. That wasn't just seasonal banter, it was a declaration, a shot across the bow. Rodgers may carry a resume worthy of Canton, but Garrett is sharpening his chisel to carve deeper into NFL history. And while it may all seem like fun and theatrics, make no mistake, this Cleveland-Pittsburgh feud just turned deeply personal. Garrett knows Rodgers inside and out, the poise, the experience, the arm strength. But he also knows Rodgers was sacked 40 times behind the Jets' line last season. That wasn't bad luck. That was vulnerability. And for this Browns defense, already one of the league's most terrifying units, that's blood in the water. Bringing Rodgers into the AFC North doesn't spark fear. It lights a fire. It fuels Garrett. It fuels this team, and it just might fuel a deeper playoff run than most people expect. And speaking of legacy, how could we not return to Nick Chubb? Though his time in Cleveland has officially come to a close, his imprint is forever etched in the DNA of this team. A 4-time Pro Bowler, the quiet force of the offense, a man whose actions always spoke louder than his words. His departure? Absolutely gut-wrenching. Was it necessary? Possibly. But that doesn't ease the sting. The hardest pill to swallow? Imagining him suiting up for the Houston Texans and running against us. Maybe not this year, maybe not next, but that day is coming, and Browns fans will have to watch a legend carry the ball for a different city. Still, in Hanford Dixon's heartfelt plea, "Don't hurt us, big dog." There's something deeply poetic. It captures what makes football different from every other game. Fierce competition and undying loyalty. Because even in another jersey, Nick Chubb will always be Cleveland's own. Let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about Shedder or Garrett or Chubb. This is about a transformation, a team forging a new identity through change, through rookies and veterans, through heartbreak and hope, through intensity and humility. It's this powerful fusion of hunger and experience that could make the 2025 Cleveland Browns not just playoff contenders, but something historic. Thank you so much, everything. See you next video.